Welcome to Mainland, your local regional television station, coming to you from the Nelson and Tasman region. In this week's news roundup, road trauma and alcohol-fuelled crime focus of police operations, Street View on Labour's transport policy, Environment Court orders Boulder boat to ship out, and Civil Defence monitors flooding. Two major police operations are underway this weekend with an aim to reduce the number of victims from alcohol-related crime and road trauma. Tasman District Police, which includes Nelson Bays, Marlborough and the West Coast, will be taking part in the Trans-Tasman Operation Unite this weekend and the National Easter Road Policing Operation Crossroads. As part of Operation Unite, which is a joint initiative with Australian Police, New Zealand Police are encouraging people to rethink how they host gatherings at home, how much they're drinking and their behaviour during and after drinking. Tasman District Commander Superintendent Richard Chambers says police are dealing with the consequences of people having consumed too much alcohol on a daily basis, whether that is drink driving, antisocial behaviour or victimisation of people who are unable to look after themselves. Police will be visiting bars and patrolling liquor ban areas over the holiday weekend. At the same time, driver behaviour will be closely monitored as part of Operation Crossroads, and the 4k per hour speed tolerance will be in force. Any driver can be expected to be breath tested. Superintendent Chambers says they want to minimise the opportunities for alcohol-related harm and road trauma this weekend. Operation Unite and Operation Crossroads will run from 6 p.m. Thursday the 17th of April until 6 a.m. Monday the 21st of April 2014. Earlier this week, Mainland's Janine Pugh caught up with Area Commander Inspector Steve Greeley about a recent drink driving operation in Nelson in which police successfully intercepted 16 drink drivers.
Okay, Steve, 2 weekends ago we had 16 drunk drivers convicted here in the Nelson region. For you guys, what's this? How does this affect you guys, or what do you guys think of this?
Yeah, well, 2 weekends ago we ran Operation Country Roads, which was aimed at targeting the back roads in our region, and of course, being Tasman, we have a lot of those country pubs, that sort of thing. And they had an old operation back in the day, which was country people die on country roads, if you might remember that one. Well, this is along exactly the same theme. We picked up and processed 16 people for excess breath alcohol that weekend, which was unusually high, and probably symptomatic of a problem that we actually need to target a lot more often and find out the causes of these things, addressing the licensees and things like that. But end of the day, if you've been drinking, you are the only one who can choose whether you drive or not. Blame entirely lays with you for making the wrong decision. Those people will all be processed through the courts, and we'll see what occurs as a result of that. But if you're drinking, the simple thing is, please do not drive. Take time to get your friends there to either drive for you, plan your night. It's just not worth it. Our team go to the most horrific vehicle crashes, and I won't call them accidents because they can't be accidents if you're drinking before you do it. You know absolutely well what the ramifications are of your actions. So please do not do it. It is not worth it. You ruin lives, you end lives. It's just too high a price.
I mean, this is words from yourself and your team that actually do see this firsthand, and I can really pick that up from what you're saying, because it does affect. It's not just the person that jumps behind the wheel and has been drinking and think they can drive it. It's the roll-on effect that this affects, and it's just devastating. And actually, now you're saying that it was the country roads. It puts a different light on it.
Oh, it does.
Comparing our region with the rest of the country, can we do some comparisons?
I think alcohol problem right across New Zealand is fairly consistent. I've policed in different areas in my career so far, and you see the same problems, you see the same people doing it again and again and again. And the message I don't think it'll ever change, but unfortunately it falls on some deaf ears, and as a result it just takes one person to make the wrong decision to have an absolutely catastrophic vehicle crash, which, like I said before, can end lives and cause a lifetime of trauma for those who love them. So, yeah.
So this is also a thing that comes back to personal responsibility, but I think our society has forgotten about that, and that it takes a village to raise a child. Is this something that needs to be handed back to the general population for everyone to take care of their mates, do be more sensible, or because I think you as the police service can't do everything?
No, police can't do everything. We're not the solution to everything. We're law enforcers, but we also have that prevention responsibility too. 3 years ago now, we signed up to a new operating strategy called Prevention First, and our focus is about educating people, tackling the problems that are causing these crimes to occur, and hope that we can actually be more sustainable in doing that. But the onus for things like drink driving are squarely with those people doing it. They know what the risk that they're taking, and they know the possible ramifications. So, if you're picked up for excess breath alcohol, you have absolutely no sympathy from me.
Well, great words there, Steve. Thank you very much for talking with us today.
You're welcome. Thanks for the time. Cheers.
Meanwhile, Labor List MP Marion Street says the introduction of 3 items to Labor's transport policy will make a difference to people in and around Nelson and will make holidays easier for Kiwi drivers. Labor's transport policy will drop registrations for light trailers and caravans, cut the increase in road user charges brought in by the current government for motorhomes and caravans, and require heavy trucks to stay out of the fast lane and 4-lane motorways. I spoke with Marion Street about Labor's transport policy.
My understanding is that a policy is being introduced by Labor which will greatly benefit people who want to go away on holiday, and with particular relevance to Nelsonians who love travelling around in motorhomes and caravans, would you say?
Absolutely. I think we've decided to address some of the smaller concerns that New Zealanders have, which really impact on their lives. So they may seem like small policies in the broader scheme of things, but they're really important to people. And this one about motorhomes and camper vans really is just to take away the ridiculous situation where they're required to pay under the national government, who increased the charges, road user charges that apply to a 12-tonne truck. Now, they will never be loaded to 12-tonne capacity. Even if they have the capacity to get to 12 tonnes, which most of them don't, you have to be a modified bus or something to get to that capacity. Even if they can get to that capacity, they never do, because they're camper vans and motorhomes. And so we think it's worthwhile having a separate category for road user charges for these people, so they're not charged fees that don't apply to the level of damage that's done by their vehicles to our roads.
So to what extent in the Nelson region has this been affecting people? Because you've had people coming to you, haven't you?
It's been brought to my attention several times. I've had people come to me in the Nelson market complaining about it. I've had people come and see me in my office about it. I wrote on behalf of one man who I thought had a very good case, and I wrote to the Minister of Transport about it, saying, what's the possibility of having this category recalibrated so that they don't have to pay ridiculous fees for damage they're never going to cause? And I got quite a dismissive reply back from Jerry Brownlee, who said, no, this is the way it's done, and if they've got 12-tonne capacity, then that's that. Well, I think this needs to be changed. There are lots of people in the Nelson area, particularly older people, who, once they retire, of course, go on to reduced and fixed incomes, and shelling out the amount that they've had to shell out for these fees in the past is really not a runner for them. And here's the time in their life when they are able to enjoy their retirement and cruise around the South Island in particular, but cruise around the country at leisure in their very valuable and precious motorhome.
Absolutely. Now, Labor's requirement for heavy trucks to stay out of the fast lane in 3 and 4 lane motorways, obviously that won't affect Nelson, but we do have this issue of the heavy trucks, you know, coming round our beloved waterfront area. And
that's right.
Yes, so that needs to be addressed, doesn't it? I mean, and it is clearly being addressed over and over and over again. It's like a stuck record, really, isn't it?
It is a bit, and certainly I've taken this issue up again with the Mayor. I think we need to approach this on a number of creative fronts. The Mayor is in fact very wedded to the idea of putting that Southern Link through and completing the expressway from Queen Elizabeth Drive all the way through to Richmond, which is to me like repeating the crime that was inflicted on Te Hunanui on Victory, with Labor's forestry policy wanting to see more value added to our logs rather than shipping them out for top dollar as raw logs from the port. If that policy comes into play, then we will see fewer logging trucks heading to the port. They will be going to sawmills and not going to the port, and that will be a benefit for everybody.
Certainly.
Nelson Marlborough Medical Officer of Health says virus risk will increase with travel during the school holidays. Dr Ed Kiddle says as people gather together in groups on holiday, they're more likely to spread viruses like measles, whooping cough and influenza, especially if people are indoors due to wintry weather. He says the only protection is to be immunised, and he encourages parents to ensure children's vaccinations were up to date, especially for measles and whooping cough. In the latest outbreak of measles in the North Island, approximately 10% of cases have required hospital treatment, and one person had encephalitis, or inflammation of the brain, associated with the measles virus. Dr Kiddle says measles is a highly infectious virus that spreads easily through the air, through breathing, coughing and sneezing. He says people can become infected sitting near to someone with measles for several hours, on an airline flight, or through being in the same waiting room for a period of time. Measles immunisation is covered on the New Zealand immunisation schedule and is free to eligible people. It's recommended that children receive vaccination at 15 months and 4 years of age. And now Mainland's Janine Pugh asked the public for their thoughts about what Easter means to them.
Easter, what does Easter mean to you?
When I was younger, it meant going to church.
Eggs and my kids.
Lots of chocolate.
Yeah. Just showing them, you know, sort of what Easter's about. And
a few days off work. That's about it.
Easter, what does it mean to you?
It just brings back memories of my grandparents and that through the wars and times like that. Yeah. That's a sacred time. Yeah, time that should be spent with family and friends. Yeah.
Usually it's wet. In Nelson, I can remember it always raining at Easter and Labour weekend.
Okay, Easter. What does Easter mean to you?
Well, to be quite honest, I don't feel like any significance really, because it's become too commercialised. So Easter has really lost its meaning for me.
Police investigating a fire at the Rising Sun Hotel on Monday say they now believe the fire was deliberately lit. The fire was started around 2 a.m. that morning at the rear of the building on Waimea Road. Police and fire investigators spent the day on Monday inspecting the scene for forensic evidence. Police are appealing to anyone who was in the area at the time to come forward, along with anyone who has information that may help identify the offender. There are some fascinating research projects currently underway at NMIT, and Research and Knowledge Coordinator Matt Pesey is in the Mainland studio today to shed some light on the focus of the research and its relevance to the Nelson community. Firstly, Matt, what's your role at NMIT and what exactly is applied research?
So my role at NMIT is the research coordinator, so really what I'm charged with is encouraging research wherever possible, whenever possible. So I have very little to do with students themselves, but what I do is I try and encourage tutors wherever possible to I guess sort of push the boundaries with their research and really sort of improve the quality of the research that we're doing. So it's anything around that pretty much. When it comes to applied research, NMIT, like any ITP, Polytechnic, is very interested in applied research, and applied is really the practical application of research. So it's research to solve real world problems. So this is in contrast to basic or pure research, which is generally looking at theories and methodologies, which will then be taken by applied researchers to actually put those theories to practical solutions. But as you can tell, there'd be a lot of overlap between the two.
Certainly. What kinds of subject areas is the research focused on?
At NMIT, it's generally around our degree and postgraduate subjects. So all of our tutors, they must be actively involved in research, and all of them are. And there's some people who are absolutely fascinating research that they're doing. So again, it's around these sort of subjects. So it's many and varied. It's anywhere from like nursing to IT to social sciences. Put me on the spot here. We've also got business as well, and creative industries as well. So things around design and art and the like. And we're starting to move much more into primary industry research as well. So aquaculture, viticulture, along with fitness as well, which is a big sort of research area for us.
Fabulous. Now, your role and that of other NMIT staff members involved in research is partly to disseminate research knowledge and to get it out there where it can be useful. What relevance or benefit might this research have for the people of Nelson?
I guess because we're involved in the applied research, and so that really is looking at practical solutions to real world problems. So research, just to take it a step back, research is really just asking a question and then going about the process of answering it. And so if we're really looking at that applied research, and what better place to do it than in the real world, so what better place to do it than in our community as well. So we've got all these people with an amazing array of expertise across a lot of different subjects who are actively involved in research, and we're really looking to apply that to the real world, so partner up with communities, with businesses, with organisations, in order to make that research actually applicable to them. And that's got massive spin-off benefits for us as well, because it means that students are actually researching within the real world. They get a taste for the real world, they get a taste for how it actually works. Along with our staff, being able to see their research actually practically used, it's a very good feeling, really.
Fantastic. Now, applied research is gaining a higher profile within NMIT as researchers push the boundaries to stay leading edge. What does this mean for the learning environment and for course content?
Yeah, I guess that's the thing with, so we not only research within our subjects, but there's a lot of people, these all tutors, they're all very interested in education as well. So not only do we need to make sure that we're staying at the boundaries of the actual course content, the subject content, to make sure that we're relevant and we're teaching the best that we can. It's also research into how we teach, so and especially education is undergoing a bit of a revolution here. So it's less of they call it sage on stage, so the tutor sitting at the front of the class just lecturing back to the students. It's much more looking at ways to get people involved, project-based learning, real-world learning, so that they actually have the skills to be able to go straight out into the workforce and be very useful and bring a whole lot of capability and expertise to these organisations. So we are very interested in the applied learning, just because that's the way we teach. Sorry, the applied research, because that's how we teach as well. We certainly want to make sure that our students are not only just have the actual contents, not actually have the knowledge, but they also have the skills in order to be able to inquire, so they can actually ask the questions themselves and have the research skills in order to be able to go about answering that, which is much more useful than just having someone who can sort of give you knowledge back rote to you, but not actually understand it.
Now, going back to the business side of things, it would be fair to say that there's a lot of innovative, forward-thinking businesses in Nelson, and it seems to marry in really well with your research, doesn't it? Because obviously, if they can gain some of your knowledge, if they can tap into your knowledge, then it's got to help them.
Yeah, I agree. I think Nelson's one of those places that have, you look around the place and you talk to different people in the business community, it's it's phenomenal what some very small businesses are doing on the world stage, and quite often that is based around sort of the innovations, so especially around the primary industries, but further than that there seems to be a bit of a growing tech sector within Nelson as well. And so what we can provide is, well, I guess one of the problems being so small is that you have limited resources in order to be able to put towards that research. And so what we're able to help it do is by using the sort of research expertise and the subject expertise, we're very keen to actually partner up with businesses so that they're not having to outlay on staff to actually specifically do research, but they can actually use some of the expertise that we have.
So you wouldn't mind if they contacted you?
No, absolutely not. It's something that we're really interested in. We're really looking to improve the way that we do this. So rather than just being all of us on campus and sort of sitting in our own little bubble, we're really keen to get out there and, as I say, sort of find those real world problems and set about solving them.
Fantastic.
In an Environment Court judgment on Monday this week, the owner of an illegal structure near the Boulder Bank was given 3 weeks to remove the houseboat. Creator of the structure, Paul Jepson, didn't appear in court. The houseboat first appeared mid-last year, and since January this year, there's been evidence Jepson has been occupying it. The removal of the structure has been deemed necessary due to its potential adverse effect on the environment and due to the Boulder Bank marine area being of significant conservation value. If Mr Jepson doesn't comply with the ruling by the Environment Court, council which has pursued the matter can legally confiscate it. On Thursday at around 5 p.m, emergency services worked to free a woman who was trapped in her car, which was involved in a collision with a logging truck on State Highway 6 near Rye Valley. The seriously injured woman was airlifted to Nelson Hospital in a stable condition. Nelson Tasman Civil Defence were urging residents to prepare for the likelihood of flooding in the region on Thursday as heavy rain swamped the already saturated region. From Thursday through to early Friday, the Met Service was forecasting 200 to 300 millimetres in some parts of Nelson Tasman, on top of the 400 millimetres which had fallen in the week prior to Easter. After the break, we'll bring you the latest weather update and some events and happenings coming up from around the region.
Hi, my name's Ian Mortimer. Mortimer Auto Upholstery is your one-stop shop for all your upholstery needs. We do car and boat interiors, boat canopies, ute tonneau covers, canvas and PVC fabrication. Call in and see us in Oxford Mews, 72 Oxford Street, Richmond.
FAV Mobile Solutions are the scooter, walker and wheelchair specialists for the Nelson region. Call in and see the huge range available. Take one for a free test drive and pick up your free booklet guide. They also provide a rescue service if you ever get a puncture or a flat battery. Come in and see Robin and the friendly team at FAV Mobile Solutions in the Richmond Free Car Park opposite the Old Town Hall.
Why would you want to pay as much as $1,000 for a single bed mattress when you can buy a high quality locally made mattress like this for as little as $220? And a queen size mattress could cost you in excess of $3,000, but at Nelson Beds you could have a mattress like this as low as $425. So why would you go out and spend a fortune on your child's bedroom when you can come to Nelson Beds and buy a complete single mattress and base set, a 7-drawer Scotch chest, a headboard and a 3-drawer bedside cabinet for as little as $979? So call and discuss our custom manufacturing options and local after sales service at Nelson Beds, Nelson's only bedding manufacturer.
Victory 60 Plus on Tuesdays at 1:30 to 3:30 p.m. at 238 Upper Vanguard Street. Join us for cards, games and a cuppa. For more information, contact Jan on 546 9057 or 027 4577 955. And Whenua Iti Outdoors will be hosting an outdoor photography weekend Friday the 9th of May at 7 p.m. until Sunday the 11th of May at 3 p.m. This is supported by TDC funding. On behalf of the team here at Mainland Television News, thanks for joining us. We'll bring you the latest news and events from around the region again tomorrow.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.
Hi, I'm John McMillan at the Nelson Power Tool Centre. We have great prices on all the top quality brands of power tool. Tools and equipment at our showroom 146 Tahunanui Drive in Nelson. The Nelson Power Tool Centre, the specialists that stand behind and service what we sell.
The majority of information in our life comes to us through our vision. With only one set of eyes to last our lifetime, it's important that you look after them. For over 20 years, Carrington Eye Care has led the way in providing the Nelson Tasman region with professional eye care. Our team are committed to providing you and your family with the highest standard of eye care. As part of this commitment at Carrington Eye Care, we recommend Crizal lenses. Crizal is a revolutionary lens which repels dust and fingerprints. This means it's easier to clean and stays cleaner longer. Visit us at our Nelson, Richmond practices and ask about our Crizal satisfaction guarantee.
Hi, Gus Bewlands of Gustav's Clothing for Men on Trafalgar Street. I'd like to invite all the people of Nelson Tasman and international and local visitors to come and check out our brand new refurbished store, which is now chock full of the latest international and New Zealand brands. From France, Lacoste; from the UK, Ben Sherman; RM Williams; from Sweden, Gant; from the US, Calvin Klein jeans; and from New Zealand, Rembrandt suits, jackets and trousers; Cutler, Berlin and snowy fine merino knitwear. So come on into Gustav's on Trafalgar Street and we'll look after you.
Hi, I'm Graham from Classic Gates Engineering. We specialise in all sorts of engineering: classic gates, balustrades, pool fences, do structural engineering, house lots of structural steel work, swimming pool fences. We also do firebox repairs, garden furniture, archways, etc. So for powder coating, sandblasting, all sorts of paintwork, call in to see us, 6 Nelson Street, Blenheim, Classic Gates Engineering.
Nestled in the garden city of Christchurch is one of New Zealand's most beautiful and famous holiday parks, where we join the wildlife with a warm welcome to all visitors. The canopy of trees and gardens provide a tranquil setting amongst all the amenities, playgrounds, swimming and spa pools, and entertainment on a grand scale. This wonderful park offers the weary traveller a haven of quality. Low-cost cabins, motels, tourist flats, caravan, campervan and campsites. Meadow Park, located on Cranford Street near the main North Road, Christchurch.